Well, it's kind of dark, and I can hope you see that, but that sadness in old Gladtown there. The foundry got hit by something and it completely crumbled apart. But this is good for you guys because you're going to see me rebuild it. And it'll be in the next, we're going to make this video a quick show. So I'll splice on a bunch of videos together of how it works. And then we'll go from there. Right? Okay, tubers, here we go. I got the foundry all disassembled and the bricks are all clean. So I'll give you a rundown. I have an idea to make my foundry a little bit more efficient. I think I'm going to work it in. Now, the way I like to build my foundry is I like to put one layer of bricks down first to cover it because it's just wood. It's a piece of a door I cut out. Still feels the heat through the bricks anyway. I like to put one layer of bricks and then I start building them up like a chimney, right? But what I have to do is you have to leave a gap between some of the bricks to put the torch in through. And what I also like to do is in the first layer leave a little gap in the bricks right here because you can tip the foundry up on its side and just throw like whole quad heads and everything and it smelts and the aluminum flows out here and you just scrape out all the metal parts. But anyway, what I plan on doing is maybe using that for my core and then wrapping the bricks around it. So that's where I'm at, that's where we're going, and then I'll tell you, you have to use this stuff called fire clay or mortar clay to be mixed in with your cement to be able to make it handle the heat. So we're going to start mixing here. That's a little sneak peek of the crucible here, I'll explain that later though. But anyway, so we're going to mix up some of our cement, we're going to start stacking these bricks back together. Thank you. Okay, there it is. This video is going to show you the completed rebuilt foundry that I made and some of the tools that you might need or should have to run with this thing. Now, we took one of these cinder blocks, we call it a single because it's just a single around and one high, and I knocked a hole in it right there, which ended up being really hard. The block broke into like 5 different pieces. That's why we banded it back together and put cement to hold everything together. The cement isn't your typical cement. It's a fire clay mixture. You have to get the fire clay to mix in with the cement to be able to make it handle the heat. Now, some of the other things you're going to need with this is just like an oven. The fire comes in there, swirls around, and comes out the top, out through the lid. So you're going to need a really heavy-duty lid with a hole poured in it. That one's I used to just a piece of rebar I used to poke the metal down to get it to melt. That's a piece of flat stock I bent like that to scrape slag out. It's like a big spoon. That one right there's a pair of tongs which I used to move the crucible around inside the foundry. That one's like a big hay hook that I had laying around, and I used that to get the crucible out. And there's an old hacksaw that I use to chip the crucible when I'm pouring. And then you're going to need some sodium chloride, i.e. salt, non-iodized, just regular plain salt, okay? And then this part, this is my crucible. I don't know if you can see some screws stuck down in the bottom, that's kind of funny. But this is just an old propane tank that I cut off. I put a little pour spout and a hole in for getting it out. And that works pretty good because it's really thin and heat transfer. I'm sure it's consumable, which I mean by that is eventually I'll probably need a new one, but they're cheap, right? It's just a propane tank. Anyway, so look at that. The old cast come right out of there. Anyway, what a trip. Anyway, so that's kind of some of the stuff you need to build and make your foundry. So the next video will be the operation. Thank you. Here's a little tack on to that foundry video. Here's the most important tool that you need when you're operating a foundry. Make sure it says ABC. Make sure it's good. This is the most important thing you need when you're running a foundry. I can't believe I left that out, but there it is. Thank you. Bye. Okay, here we go. We got some scrap aluminum bits. I'm sorry about the bad lighting. We're in the shop. There's some bits I made earlier. Just some ingots I poured out of some old scrap. We consumed our other crucible like I said we might, so I made another one out of this looking coffee pot, but it works pretty good. As you can see, our foundry's on. It's on low right now because there's nothing in it. We will resume once we have molten metal. Thank you. Okay, there's the foundry in operation with the lid on it. Remember, you have to deal with the whole light was for me because see, I've got two T12s and a fucking floodlight in here, and this camera still doesn't pick up shit. So, I don't know. So we'll take the lid off really quick. There's our stuff going in there. I just put it in, so it's not melting yet, so we'll have to wait. And that's how it looks when it's on. It's on medium right now, it's not even on high, so you'll see in the next video, I'll show you the melt. Well, it appears with this new crucible, it seems to like the top I made for yesterday better. A hole in it. I left the flame coming out a little bit off the side there because it just seems to run better. There's a little puff coming out the hole. Ooh, there we go. Just right. Probably melting down in there. I'll open it up in a bit and I'll turn on the camera.